Sometimes we beg for an answer of whether or not to keep someone in our lives. Pay attention to their response when you set reasonable boundaries, and oftentimes that'll give you an answer. Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining me here today. If you're new, I'm Amanda. Welcome to the channel where we are all about shattering the mental health stigma. If you haven't already, please make sure you make sweet, sweet love to that subscribe button. Give the bell a few kisses so you're not missing any of this content designed to help you with your mental health or help you help someone else. Today I'm going to be reacting to Illest of Our Time by Rin. But before we dive into the reaction, I want to say thank you so much to the sponsor of today's video, BetterHelp. Deciding whether or not to end a friendship, a relationship, or even whether or not to leave a job can be really challenging, especially when we're in the headspace where we can't trust our own judgment. And knowing how to do so in a healthy way can pose even more confusion. These are things that can be addressed through therapy, and BetterHelp matches you with a licensed professional therapist based on your needs and your preferences. And if you don't resonate with that therapist, you can change therapists with no hassle. As a special offer to my viewers, BetterHelp is offering 10% off your first month of professional therapy by going to betterhelp.com/Amanda Webster. That's betterhelp.com/Amanda Webster. Thanks again, BetterHelp, for sponsoring this video. Now let's dive into our reaction. Illest of Our Time by Rin. Diving back into the Rin rabbit hole. So many more I still need to do though.
One, two, three, spitting bullets on the beat. I'm a sick little puppy who gets lucky when he speaks. Blessed with a silver tongue, chest with an iron lung. Extraterrestrial tentacles, aliens. Psychopathic tendencies, a pathologic entity. If everything is set in stone, then this is how it's meant to be. Elementary, dear Watson, you might find yourself inside the mind of the illest of our time.
Get it poppin', hot rockin'. I'm Freddy Krueger, I'm chopping. I turn it up to 11, the demigod of upping. The strangest thing, I'm the boss. When the danger lingers, I'm plotting.
Sweet like a spoonful of sugar, because I'm merry like popping.
The double barrel is cocking, a shotgun sheltered the noggin. I'm coughing, catchy bronchitis, you're in your funeral coffin. No stopping, blocking me not when I pick the world up, I'm squatting. And when I take from the rich, I'm in your hood and I'm robbing. 4, 5, 6, spit a crucifix. 6, 6, 6, flow, crucify a Catholic.
Maverick, anti-hero villain, not protagonist. Words are kind of muffled when you're sucking on my massive.
Whoa! Okay, first and foremost, I'm dizzy from all the pop culture references here, but I really love that because I do that too. I relate my symptoms or my thoughts to stories or characters because it can make these otherwise impossible concepts for people easier for me to explain so that I can put my struggles into words and kind of give a narration to that when I'm trying to talk to another person because they might not understand any other way. Heck, I don't even understand. It helps me understand my feelings more. But I caught Sherlock Holmes, which makes sense to me because I constantly feel like I'm trying to find clues on how to fix myself. So that trying to find clues, that makes sense to me. Okay, I caught 11 from Stranger Things, and that one, even though I didn't get into Stranger Things, I didn't watch all of it, I never finished it. It really also makes sense to me because, I mean, on just the base surface, she's this innocent child trying to make sense of being different, right? Of having these different powers, and she's being taken advantage of, and she's being abused, and she's being relentlessly pursued by a monster, which can be very reflective for many of us. And I feel the Robin Hood reference because I think this idea of stealing from the rich is this unyielding fight that we have to go through against a broken system to try to get help. We have to be constantly just jumping through hoops, try to get the basic help that we deserve in many cases. But I feel like I'm missing so much here. I feel like there were so many. There was Mary Poppins. There were all these different references. Oh, I did want to mention, though, the line about if everything is set in stone, that's how it's meant to be. I thought that was really powerful because I felt that so many times. Well, if I have this disorder, if I have this shadow, then I can't do anything to change fate. I can't do anything to heal. I don't have any power. That's just fate. That's how it's meant to be. That's how it's always been. That's how it's going to be. I had that thought so many times that I'm just going to suffer. I'll suffer. There's no way out of this labyrinth. There's no way out of this. I'm just going to suffer. And there were many times where I thought I meant to die by my own hand. That's fate. No matter what I do, it's going to come back to that. And I meant to die by my own hand. I can't heal. That was the narrative I told myself. And while we might not be able to make it go away, we are really far from powerless.
Who's the fucking illest? Who's the realest? Who's the baddest kid? Call the police on this beat before I damage it. A kiddie called Screech on the streets, I'm a masochist. So far from reach, I'm the type to kill a pacifist. Catalyst for chemical combustion, I'm the analyst of metaphors and similes and synonyms and alchemist. Evangelist, spread the words I seek like they're cancerous. Pragmatist, think before I speak, then I answer it. Pull up to the place. When I pull it, bang, I pull it, sang it, shot right into space. Music for the hooligans let loose on the estate. Call the police and the riot bands that people wanna play. Hey.
Freedom now has lost all meaning. How can we all be free in a hierarchy breeding ground? The poor get poorer while the rich get rich in style. I'll be a heretic, killer king, take his crown. Top of the phone.
Oh, God. I'll just touch real fast here. These different parts are ourselves, and I think that that's really interesting. You know how it's flashing back and forth. It's showing these different aspects of themselves. It's showing these different characters with the masks, that we hide these different parts of ourselves, but we know the extent that our dark thoughts go. And trust me, if you spent a day in my mind, you would find me absolutely abhorrent. You would not look up to me, you would not admire me, you would not like me, you would not watch my content anymore. But this talk about freedom being impossible, I just had to touch on that real fast because I think it touches on the fact that if we have any type of disorder, be it mental or otherwise, we're in many ways reliant, again, upon a system that is set up to fail us. But it can also be interpreted as the fact that we're never free from the judgment of others who just don't understand.
Top of the kingdom I own, top of the streets that I roam, top of the dome, spitting for Britain I shown, boss like a cellular phone.
I pin like Tyson, an icon, go twice in, left right in, I'm striking, like I'm biting, like a python. Ready, I'm heavy, I'm Mercury, I am Freddy, so eat my words, fill your belly like alphabet, spaghetti, I am a rap star, don't believe me, the facts are, I spit fast like a MasterCard, don't believe me, then fuck your shit. I don't feel so well, I don't feel so well. I don't feel so well.
Call a medic for myself. I don't feel so hot, my brother. Aching, shaking, stop then stutter. Things gone wrong, hit by King Kong, ace, one bomb like Hardy Brothers. I don't feel so
Yes!
fresh, bro. Things look blurry, speaking slow. Head in Hong Kong, wonton soup is what I have for brains. I know that I
want to spread these tattered wings, hold them high. Vanish from the heavens, but I'm knocking on the sky. Living with depression is a blessing in disguise. Never second guessing, intuition getting wise. Want to sink into the pupil of my eye. Travel to the corner of my cornea and mind. Look for all the answers that I never seem to find.
Till then, I guess I'm still the illest of our time.
Wow. It was so short and sweet, too. I feel like I just started it and it's already over. But what? My Swanton Bomb! We got Jeff Hardy references up in here. I am digging it. My inner kid was pretty giddy over that. I grew up, for those of you that don't know, loving professional wrestling, and I went through this Jeff Hardy crush phase in my early 20s. I wasn't really watching wrestling much at that time, but I started watching because I tried to catch a few episodes just to live into that nostalgia, to lean into that nostalgia, and I ended up kind of developing a crush on Jeff Hardy and watched for a little bit, but it just didn't have the same charm, so I didn't continue with that. But so a swanton bomb is when you jump off of the top rope and you drive your shoulder into the other person's abdomen. That's what a swanton bomb is for those of you that are not wrestling fanatics like I am. But I think it's a really actually creative way of describing a gut punch, right? So you can experience that when you get a diagnosis. You can experience that when you turn to someone for support. You feel like they abandon you, or when you act in a way, say you split or you have an episode and you act in a way that brings about all of this guilt, that sinking feeling in your gut, in the pit of your stomach. I'm going to use this reference from now on, where I just got a swanton bomb, guys. I'm going to use that reference, but it's a really poetic way of talking about a gut punch, in my opinion. But I'm torn on the Mercury reference because clearly he's referring to Freddie Mercury, but Mercury, as in the heavy metal, or the element, for all of you metalheads, I don't want to confuse all of you metalheads out there. The element Mercury is poison. It's straight up poison, and it directly affects the immune system. Can be particularly problematic for someone like Rin, as I learned in my last reaction from your comments and stuff. Rin is living with Lyme disease, so it could be particularly problematic for someone like him. So that double entendre right there was really interesting. But there are answers that we can't find. There are answers that you are never, ever going to find, ever, period. You're going to seek them, you're going to long for them, but you're never going to find them. But that doesn't mean that we should stop searching for other solutions, that we should stop seeking, that we should stop being curious, that we should stop trying. We just have to accept that some things don't have answers, but that doesn't mean that they're unresolvable, if that makes sense. Some things, unfortunately, we just have to accept. But the end was intriguing because he's shutting down, his brain's turning to soup, as the lyrics were saying. He can't find the answers. He can't seem to find the silver lining of depression, right? Or I'm sorry, but he sees the silver lining of the depression. So he can't find the answers, but he sees the silver lining of the depression, which for me, my silver lining of living with mental health challenges, I mean, there's quite a few things. There's this enhanced ability to empathize with other people. There's this burning desire to help and serve and really leave my mark on the world. I have stronger critical thinking skills than most people. I forgive easier. So there's 4 right there. 4. Back to the wrestling references. Now it's gonna be in my head all day. But I self-reflect more. So that I've had to learn how to harness that one, because that one can be a strength, or that one can be something that can be very damaging. And that's also something that can be addressed in therapy, is how to self-reflect in a healthy way, because I am incredibly self-aware, and it's one of my biggest strengths when it comes to managing my disorder, managing my anxiety symptoms, managing my mental health in general, is being self-aware and knowing, hey, when am I going into an episode? What are the best things that I can do for myself during that time? Or when I'm having a panic attack, what are the best things I can do during that time? But I'm going to leave you with a strength of perspective, actually. That's where I want to end in the songs, talking a little bit about the strength of having perspective with the final line / title of the song, Illest of Our Time. So, okay, let's say you accept that label, Illest of Our Time, right? Now, you have 2 ways of looking at that. You have 2 ways of looking at the phrase Illest of Our Time. One is you can take it in the literal sense of being in poor health. Or you could take it the cool kid sense of to describe something that is awesome. So when you're saying that you're the illest of our time, which way are you going to take that? What label are you going to put yourself? Because that's what matters here, is what story are you telling? What story are you projecting? What label are you projecting? Don't fall into that cycle of allowing others to define you, or defining yourself based on what others think of you, what others perceive you as, because that's going to be different for different people, and you can't rely on the opinion of others to define yourself. And you can't rely on your diagnosis either, because you define yourself. Others do not, your diagnosis does not. Thank you guys very much for watching this. Thank you, Ren, for continuing to produce this amazing content that allows us to perpetuate this conversation about mental health. That's what I'm all about. So I really have a lot of admiration for him as an artist, and seemingly as a person, even though I haven't dug too much into his story yet. I've heard a lot here in the comments, and I have talked to his people, because I got a message after the last email that Rin really liked my reaction here on the channel. So I thought that was really amazing. But I really want to thank you guys for being here, for helping this community grow. Make sure that you are sharing your mental health stories here in the comments, good, bad, and crazy. This is how we shatter the stigma, is by continuing the conversation, telling our story in our way. Sometimes it's going to come out poetic like Ren. Sometimes it's just a word dump in a comment section on YouTube. Either way, helpful. It's helpful to talk. Maybe it's a conversation with a family member or friend, but it helps to talk, because then it opens that up for other people. I love you guys. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up, share it. Somebody might need to see it. for it. I love you guys so much, and thanks again, BetterHelp, for sponsoring this video. Mwah!